just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if it's sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 76. Wait a minute. Didn't we just do number 75? Yeah, that's right. 76 is here. And that's because it's Knicks and Nets free agency reaction show part 2. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benezowitz. We're back at you because there is a lot to get into 24 hours later. Nets, Knicks making moves. Don't forget you can find this podcast on all major platforms like Apple, Spotify. Go ahead and give a 5-star rating. Why the hell not? And if you want to see the video version, just go on to YouTube and type in Bad Weather Fans. Alex.
Thumbs ups. Gives us a thumbs ups on YouTube, please. But
I just saw your face. Here we are again. Spencer Dinwiddie, officially a Washington Wizard, and Kemba Walker, officially a New York Knick.
Holy crap. Did you see that? We were talking on the show yesterday, and I was saying, and you were agreeing, and you were saying too, it wasn't just me. The Knicks are not done. The Knicks are not done. Stop talking to them as a finished product. Stop saying they're bringing it back. Stop doing with all the derogatory term. They're bringing it back. That's not derogatory anyway. They were really good last year. They upgraded from Blanc to Fournier. They tried to get Kendrick Nunn. It didn't work out. That shows, hey, guess what? The Knicks are not done. And guess what? They weren't done. We got Kemba Walker, dude. Like, Kemba Walker for nothing. Like, is that even possible? I understand the injury concerns. I understand. But, oh, my God. Oh my God. Like, is that even possible? Just it allows you as a Knick fan to dream. It allows you to dream. Yes. I'm not delusional thinking that even Kemba Walker at his best is not going to lead the Knicks to a championship, but it allows you to dream. Like, wait, if Mitch takes a step, wait, if RJ takes a step, wait, if Randall stays the same, wait, if Quickly gets better, wait, if Toppin gets a little better, wait, if we have something in Grimes, wait, if we get Kemba healthy, holy crap, and Derrick Rose, like, oh my God, and Tibbs, like, holy crap, we could really make a run here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a way that Knicks fans can dream and delusional, like, and it's not really that delusional. Like, this is not, what's his name? Aaron Aflalo coming in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not that. We're like, This is Kemba Walker, dude. This is the all-star. This is the Bronx native. This is the guy that we have wanted for so long. He's a point guard. He is not Jared Jack. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not
Jared
like
Jack.
that guy.
I like Jared Jack.
He's a great guy.
Throw shade on Jared Jack. I have a lot. No, I get what you're saying. I like Jared Jack, Georgia Tech. I have a lot of sayings.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, Jared Jack.
I'm interested in this trade for a lot of reasons. First, I think it's a home run for the Knicks. I think they did a great job in signing him. Why the hell not? They're not giving him much money, and for them, they now have a viable point guard that can lead the team, run the roster, and give them a lot of point guard depth. The Knicks are instantly better with Kemba Walker. The Knicks now put themselves in the conversation with the second-tier teams, in my opinion, with the Hawks, with the Heat, with the Celtics. That's where the Knicks are. They're in that. Maybe you even lump the Sixers down there, depending on what they can do, because it looks like they might be able to take a step back. I think the Nets and the Bucks are the two teams in the East, and then you lump those guys in the middle. So I think it's a home run for the Knicks. I really do. I think for them, they've got themselves a viable point guard that can lead the offense and clearly has the clutch gene, is a guy that is a great locker room leader, and people are going to love him and will fit in well. I would temper expectations a little bit, and this is my true feelings on this. I think it's a home run signing. I really do. At the same time, Kemba Walker was terrible last year for the Celtics. He had a bad season. He did. He was dreadful in the playoffs. He didn't play. And the last 30 games for Boston, he was bad. So I would say I expect him to make an impact on the Knicks, and I think he's going to be really good for the team, and I think he's going to really help the roster. But at the same time, I think you're not going to see a player that's Kemba Walker in your head, Hornets, that's going in and hitting 25-foot jumpers, leading an offense. He's not the same player. Now, you could prove me wrong. He could come out, be healthy, be exceptional. I think, like I said, this is a great move for the Knicks. There's no risk here. None. The money's minimal. If it doesn't work, it's going to work out. but I would temper expectations. This is not Kemba Walker in your head that you're thinking of. He's a very good player, and he's a major upgrade at the point guard position, but I don't think you're getting Kemba Walker that you're thinking about, the all-star point guard that's going to come in there and be that guy, but he's going to fit in, and he's a perfect fit for the Knicks, and I love the signing. That's my true, honest opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, in the back of my mind, I do have the fears that this is like Baron Davis when the Knicks got it.
Better than that. Better than better than that.
But it scares me a little bit. That's my little in the back of my mind. That's the guy that sticks out. Coming same age, just basically when they got here. Like, oh my God, we got Baron Davis. Imagine if he's healthy, and he never was. You know what I mean? Sure. So it's just like, I mean, he was a backup. He played some games. He was good Knick. Then got hurt again and a gruesome injury, and that was horrible. Work for the organization, whatever. But Kemba, I think, is better and will be fine. I do think that. And he was injured, but he had his injury the year before, right? But he was just this was like kind of his recovery year, sort of.
Yeah, and he missed games all over the place for a myriad of reasons. He was hurt. I mean, he was hurt, but again, each year is different year to year. So I think that'll be interesting. The other interesting aspect that I'm really curious in how they play him, because Tom Thibodeau is known for giving guys major minutes. You can't give Kemba 40 minutes. It's just not that kind of player.
No, but you don't have to.
No, you don't have to. But he's the kind of guy, he's 30 minutes, 28 to 32 minutes. That's the line for Kemba. And then whoever's hot in the fourth, you ride. And that's a luxury to have. If it's quickly, if it's Rose, whatever the combination is with Barrett, etc., you now have another viable option there. I'll be really interested to see, though, how Coach Thibodeau uses Kemba Walker and how many minutes he gives him, because we know how many minutes he likes to give guys that he likes to ride, that he sees. I think that'll just be a curious storyline to watch, because this was, your major critique of Coach Tibbs during the season was minutes and rotations. I'll be fascinated as a net fan, but a net fan of the NBA, how he manages him. But again, it all comes back to you're now having conversations that you like to have. How are you going to manage minutes? How are you going to make rotations work? It's exciting stuff. And if you're a Knicks fan, you should be thrilled about this signing. And if it doesn't work, if he's not good, he's injured, it's not the end of the world. You didn't give him, 3 years, 62.
Exactly. And Rose and Kemba can hold down the point guard, and like you said, whoever's hot, whoever needs a little blow, either one can go back and forth, and then you have quickly that you could sneak in there, and even Burks can play the point a little bit sometimes. You have guys, and then in the back of your mind, long term, if quickly is the answer, you have him learning from Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker. Like, you know what I mean? That is great. Like, that's 2 all-star. One was a former MVP.
Great guys.
These are your mentors. Like,
great people.
Right. Like, this is not exactly like, years past where you have, David Lee learning from, Malik Rose. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not like that. This is like, holy crap. Like, look what we got. Like, do we have like a structure here? Do we have like a real, like, structured, like, perfect, like, well-run organization right now is what it looks like. And I know I sat here last year in the offseason, like, going crazy over the Obi Toppin pick. And that was like because of the value and because of like, we saw how he fell and we thought he could fit, and he might be fine. He turned on the playoffs. So I'm kind of trying to keep my emotions in check. I'm so excited, but like, that's why I'm bringing up the Baron Davis thing. But there is no risk, like you said. Like, there's absolutely zero risk. It's like, what is it, like $8 million, and then they still have some money to play with, and they can cut Vildoza, and they can free up even more money because he's not guaranteed. Then you still got your two ways and your MLE, and like, oh my God, like, we could still let's get some more guys in here. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, let's make a trade, maybe make it even better. And then also the other thing that I forgot to say before you get to your next point. Kemba and Fournier played together with the Celtics, so they already have continuity. So the two of them, your starting backcourt, has already played together. So they're 2 new guys who know each other already, going into this team who's already like in a cohesive team that's been together for a year with a coach. And dude, how can you not be excited? How can you not be excited as a Knicks fan?
Absolutely.
I see you smiling.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. You should be excited. Nets, by the way, disposed of those Celtics in 5 with Fournier and Kemba Walker that were there. I just had to add that in. I know you Knick assholes.
Well, it's nice for them to stay healthy for a series.
I had to say that. Well, Kemba didn't even play. Kemba missed all the games at the end of the series, and the Celtics were shelved themselves. Again, he was toast at the end of that series. He wasn't even healthy to play in those games. But no, I totally understand your excitement. And I look at the Kemba signing and I understand it's your team. So you're going to always have that doubt in the back of your head. But I look at it like you're not getting a superstar all-star player, but I don't think you're going to get a guy that's going to come in there and be like, oh my God, this was a disaster. It wasn't this guy we thought we weren't getting. We signed Kemba Walker and we ended up getting somebody that wasn't even close to that. I think you're going to get something. You're just going to get him. That's a little, he's declining player that's still really good and is an upgrade at the point guard position and instantly helps this team. It's not a long-term thing. It's a guy that can coach and mentor the younger players. He's a great locker room fit. He continues to help the culture in the Knicks locker room, which I know you love to say. And it's a great signing. I mean, end of discussion. It's a great signing. It's a good move for the Knicks. And I wanted to bring the point to this because this irritated me a lot.
Mm-hmm. Go.
I've said this. I just said this before. I don't think the Knicks are getting Kemba Walker the all-star, but the Knicks are getting Kemba Walker, a steady, good player that's going to really help them. And that's my view on this. But it's irritating when there's net fans that make it a point to just go in and say how bad this signing will end up being. And that frustrated me because there comes a point where you just have to be honest. You have to be realistic. Like you can't. I think it becomes a jealousy thing. And at least I can recognize it in my head. I was annoyed they got Kemba because I just saw the excitement with Knicks fans and that irritated me, but I can be honest about it.
That's an honest,
Instead of going on Twitter and then making points about how bad it is and how hurt he'll be and how injured he'll be and how irrelevant he'll be and how Kyrie's better, I could just at least admit it. It annoyed me because it made the Knicks better today. And it annoyed me. Yeah. You know why? Because in my view, I don't like the Knicks. So at least I don't have to come up with excuses to minimize the signing. I can just be honest and say it pissed me off. Like, at least be honest with yourself, okay?
Seriously.
Be honest. Like, everybody's got to find a way to minimize everything that's done in another deal that's done because, it won't work out. Like when the Nets got their players, it won't work out. It won't work. At some point, you just got to say, fuck you. It worked. You did a good job. Move on. Let's see what happens. Let's go to battle. Let's have fun. I expect Knick games to be really effing exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. But don't go out there and minimize the signing because you're pissed off and jealous of the Knicks. Just be honest with it. Like the Knicks made a good signing today. I'm pissed.
Right.
Like, just be honest.
You're mad.
Sign them because the Knicks got better today. But I'm not going to go on and try to minimize it because it makes you feel better because, in reality, deep down inside, it's not Aaron Aflalo. It's not Jarrett Jack. It's Kemba Walker, and it annoyed you.
It's true. That's true. And no Knicks fan is saying that they are now title contenders. So if Knicks fans are saying that, then I understand Nets fans checking them like, whoa, chill, bro. Like, what would you really sign?
Now, in my opinion, with this...
They were last year. They're in the mix for where they were last year. Middle of the pack.
All around. The East is they're in the like the Knicks could, in my opinion, next year, realistically, I think they could not make the playoffs because the East is so deep and something injury happens, probably make the playoffs. But anyway, from the first round to second, it could just be anything. And it's just time to find out. But at least it's time to find out. But don't minimize the signing. The Knicks are in the trajectory. The Knicks are trajecting in the right direction. You can't hide it.
No, and you can't. And again, nobody said they're going to win a title. But guess what? What did I say last year that Obi Toppin and Mitchell Robinson need? What do they need to be successful?
Point guard.
And what is Kemba Walker?
He'll help them. Absolutely.
He's a point guard. Thank you. And it just is what it is. And you have Kemba Walker on the back end of his career. He can be like Derrick Rose on the back end of his career if Kemba understands where he is in his career when he steps in the door, which he might know. Maybe he's like, I'm coming home to the Knicks. You know what I mean? I'm from the Bronx. I'm from right up down here. You know what I mean? Like this is where I want to be. And this is what I wanted to do. And this is what we're doing. I'm actually from New York, not like some other players that came here that said they were from New York and they're from somewhere else. He is actually our guy, like Obi Toppin. He's our guy and he's going to come here. And I believe he's going to do everything he can to help win. He's not going to be about his stats. He's not going to be about anything because he wants to win. He's made his money. He's home. He wants to be part of the team that's going to make a deep playoff run with the Knicks. I really think that last year, the Knicks being successful and getting into the playoffs really helped somebody like Kemba Walker make a decision to come to the Knicks.
Oh, absolutely.
You can mock the Knicks fans for going crazy outside of the Garden after winning game 2. I was stuck in the middle of that crowd. I got out of there as fast as I could, but it was wild, and it was way more wild than it would have been had there not been construction and only one exit. Like, you know what I mean? In the front of the garden. So that's part of it that's not really talked about in the whole scheme of that video. But people around the NBA took notice. Like, whoa, like there's a lot of guys who are younger. Kemba's a little older, so he probably understands. But like, there's a lot of people around the NBA that took notice. Like, look at this crowd. Like, what the hell? Like, look at these Knicks fans. They're crazy. They're not pathetic. This is nuts. You know what I mean? I want to play there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like, I'm not saying they're chasing free agents like the guys on the sports talk TV shows want to do. Oh, well, that was still a little cap space and like this and that. Oh, where are they free? Where are they going to sign? Who's available? Zion in 4 years? Like, I mean, relax. Like, let's build a team. Let's get some guys. You don't really need cap space anymore in the NBA to get a superstar. This year has proved that. It's just like, just chill. Let's sign some guys. Let's get better. And the Knicks have shown. And finally, that's why last year was so important. And that's why I was upset last offseason because I didn't think they did enough, which they did. They could have done more and they could have been better, maybe won a round and beat the Hawks. But they stopped all those streaks. They showed that we're here, and the fans really showed up and really, really put the league on notice that, hey, this really is the sleeping giant that all the old folks have been telling you about. You win here, this fan base is going to go nuts. And that's what this playoff series is like. Yo, we won one game in a playoff series and we had they shut down the streets. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how is that even possible? I mean, your Maka's fine, but we were just starved and we had some excitement and oh my God, we did it.
Yeah. It's
sorry, I'm rambling.
There's a lot. I have a lot that you said that I want to touch on. One, winning breeds winning, and winning breeds guys wanting to come around you. And you don't like to use the word, but they built a different culture there. It is what it is. Whatever you want to call it, they did. And winning brought that. And Kemba Walker's not coming if that doesn't happen. They had to get that attitude there for the Knick fan, for the Knick player to want to go there. And the Knick crowd was incredible in that game because and I've said this on this podcast, when your team, when you have a legendary franchise with passionate fans and your team shit for so many years, when you get good, it will erupt. And that is exactly what happened. There's a reason why, like, Citi Field and Shea Stadium can get louder right now than Yankee Stadium. Are Yankee fans better than Met fans? Are Met fans better? It's just been a fucking forever, and they're ready to explode and they're ready to get excited. And this is what I'm going to tie this whole point into, because I'm really excited about this. And this is the angle where the Net fan will be mocked, and the angle will be, oh, it took up to a game 7 to get that kind of crowd. It took up for a second round matchup. The Net experience versus the Milwaukee Bucks built something for this organization. There is a lot of excitement and new fans that are coming from that. It was a ruckus house in Barclays Center. And the truth is, it may have been just as loud at Madison Square Garden, but it's not the Garden. The Garden has its mystique. It's a fun arena. It's got everything around it. It's got the history. The Nets don't have a history in that building, but it was a loud-ass arena. So I will tell you right here on Bad Weather Fans, you get ready for Knicks next season. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And
we're going.
For all the Net fans that are disappointed in the Spencer Dinwiddie trade, I get it. They didn't get the haul you wanted. We didn't get in return what we wanted, but expectations need to be tempered a little bit. We've gotten spoiled by every deal that they have made. So was this an L? Sure, it was an L. They didn't get the guys they wanted back. But at some point, I don't want to hear people just bitch about Joe Tsai's fucking wallet. When you have a luxury tax where they're going to go all and beyond and insane numbers above, they're one of the 2 highest payrolls in the league. Calm down. They've got Harden, Kyrie, and Durant, and that's the core that makes the difference. Yeah, you can be upset about it. Yeah, you can be frustrated about it. But you have to understand at some point, this is a business, and things get done. And Spencer Dinwiddie moved on. I'm going to miss him. I love Spencer Dinwiddie. He's one of my favorite Nets. He built the organization to where they are now, where they can be having conversations for these great players. But you have to temper expectations because Miles Turner didn't come back in a trade, because you didn't get a couple of Lakers that come back in a trade. It's not always going to be magical. But you think that this Net roster is done for this point of view, and then what's going to be happening in the middle of the season? Did we learn anything from last year when Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge signed and the team went berserk? You don't think that's going to happen again? Calm down. It's a long, long road. Relax. And I am officially over this 2021 Net bullshit of me me feeling bad about it, me feeling down about it. It's time to move on. It's time to go capture a championship, and it's time to get excited and just believe in what the organization is doing. Everybody is picking the Nets to win the title. And you know what? Even though they didn't get the return for Spencer Dinwiddie, it's still the same. So relax about it. We'll see what happens. There's more moves to be made, and I'm ready for next season.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to get a big return for a player when he decides to sign somewhere. Like in a sign and trade, he's not DeMar DeRozan. Like, you know what I mean? He's not somebody like that that's going to garner, or even Lonzo, that's going to garner a big contract, like in a big trade. He's coming off a knee injury. Like, I know he'll be fine.
He still got 362 or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, and plus, teams don't want to help the Nets right now. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to go out of their way to help them. They're going to squeeze them. Like, Dinwiddie wants to come to us. You need our help. So here's your $12 million trade exception, and go F yourself, dude. Sure. Enjoy Harden, Kyrie, and Durant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. I heard the Nets were asking for Denny, and then the Wizards laughed at them. Like, yeah, okay, buddy. Like, here's Denny. Like, yeah, it's our first round pick from last year. Yeah, okay, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just. The Nets tried. And if you, as a Nets fan, you have to have faith in the management. How can you not have faith in your management right now? Like, what are you angry about? Like, you know what I mean? No, well, all you need is health. All you need is health.
I think people got spoiled by the idea, like Blake Griffin came, LaMarcus Aldridge came, that this is like that Sean Marks is a sorcerer that can just do anything that he wants and wave a magic wand. When he had all the leverage. Trust me, there's a reason. I would look at it this way with Marks. It took 72 fucking hours for this trade to happen because he was trying everything humanly possible, and they ran out of answers. And let's say with the $12 million trade exception, they go out and they get themselves another forward, another guard. They get another player. There will be something else that happens. It's not over. And if it is over, then this is the squad. Here we go.
Guess what? And guess what? You're a title contender.
I can't. You know I can't get over that. I'm never. I'll always call the Nets out when I call them on their bullshit. They hide injuries. They don't. They're devious with things. They are not honest with the media. But at some point, it's like everybody's like, oh, Sean Marks, we give him a pass. It's not giving him a pass. This is all they could come up with. You're expecting him to, it's Spencer Dinwiddie. This is they took the L, okay? But everything was stacked against them. They took the L. All right,
they did.
On. Off season. Everybody always talks about you don't win the off season, and everybody got all excited. You put down the Nets. Oh, you don't win the off season. You know what? Now you didn't win the greatest off season. Go win the fucking championship. They still got good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. The point guard they hired, they signed from the Spurs,
Patty Mills.
Let's be real. He's like a barely a notch below Kemba Walker. Like, Patty Mills is really good. He's a really good player. That's a hell of a signing. Patty Mills is basically the Kemba Walker for the Nets, and he's their fucking fourth guard off the bench. He's the guard off the bench. It's not bad.
And I'll give you a tagline for you. This is what your rallying cry should be for Nets fans. We had enough offseason championships. It's time for a real championship.
That's funny. I might take that.
Because the Nets have their banners of offseason championships. They've had many offseason championships. You know what I mean? Enough winning the offseason championships. It's time to win a real championship if you're a Nets fan. And that's where you're coming from, I think, as a Nets fan.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming from. Yes. You summed up my 3 minutes and 10 seconds. That was beautiful.
This is the Knicks fan brain, dude. This is what we do. We make things simpler and make things, break things down.
No, I understand that brain.
No, we're not smarter fans. No, I'm just kidding.
I've been kind of built up. You
had a lot going on today. Some certain things happened that really kind of annoyed you. So I understand you got some things going on, and this Nets fans complaining, just the tip of the iceberg. It's just not the tip of the iceberg. It's the gash in the side of the ship. You know what I'm saying? It's just. When does this $12 million trade exception expire? Does it expire at the end of the season?
That's a great question.
Or the offseason?
I don't know the answer to that and how long.
Somebody get Bobby Marks on the phone. Call Bobby Marks.
I have to give a lot of credit to Brooklyn Scary Hours on Twitter.
Yeah, that's my guy.
And that's at awesome. Brooklyn Nets 85. I DM him every 10 seconds for information. Like, what does this mean?
DM him now. Say we're live on the pod.
Yeah, if you talk for a second, I can't type and talk, but yeah, I'll do that. When does the exception expire?
When does the exception expire? Exactly. I wouldn't know, but if you think about it, if you have like a $12 million trade kicker, or I'm sorry, not a trade kicker, but a trade exception, then you can get a guy like Lauri Markkanen who's like making $9 million, and there you go. And then but I don't think the Bulls would help out the Nets, but there's other guys around the NBA that are making that kind of money because $10 million is nothing now. $12 million is nothing now. You got other guys who are crushing it on the salaries, and then you think that there's other teams that are trying to make a deal, and you think like Schroeder wants to do a sign and trade, Reggie Jackson wants to do a sign and trade. There's still guys out there. Maybe Colin Sexton wants to do a trade. You know what I mean? So that you can hop in there and steal someone. The only problem is like what I was saying to you before, is that teams are not going to want to help the Nets. Like they are not going to want to help the Nets. You're not going to get like, oh, let's do my boy Bobby a solid and let's get him, let's throw him, a backup 4. Like, no, we're not going to do that. You can take this $12 million trade exception. You know what I'm saying? So that won't happen.
No,
so it is what it is. We're both happy fans right now. We're going to have a fun season, and hopefully we can, we're going to go to some games together. Hopefully they open the season playing each other, because the NBA needs to do that. It's either Nets Lakers or Knicks Nets. Just do it, man. Just do it at the Garden. Something, but you know what they're going to do? They're going to have the Knicks open up in like Charlotte and have the Nets play on national TV. It's always like Charlotte. It's always like, Knicks in Washington. It's like, oh, come on, man. Can we just open up at the Garden and have like a real matchup or something?
Maybe, the Knicks are going to get national TV games this year again.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. There'll be some fun, juicy matchups. I did get an answer from Scary Hours. He wrote a full calendar year, but realistically, they better use it by the deadline. Makes sense.
So they can use it next offseason if they wanted to.
Yeah, full calendar year.
But
so realistically,
which works in your benefit with the offseason push back, because next year, or maybe it's a full calendar year into next offseason when it starts.
I see it more like it's in their pocket for the deadline. So maybe right now teams don't want to be willing to help the Nets, but you get to the trade deadline and teams then are looking to, unload and move for the future and get rid of contracts. Then teams will be like, you know what? Fuck it. All right, Nets, what do you need? Let's figure something out. So I think more of that along the lines, but that's good to know. I feel that was our first ever live
DM
insider. Yeah, Brooklyn Scary Hours.
He's the man.
It's impressive. It really is impressive.
Big fan of the show.
I appreciate that. All right. Well, this is episode 2, our little part 2 of the Knicks Nets offseason.
Yeah.
Part 1 has a kind of a bigger dialect, a bigger dissection
of all the moves of
all the moves that had happened. Did you?
What else is bothering me about the coverage of the Knicks? It's like you get the general, I don't want to use a curse word, like idiots that say the same things over and over. So the free agents and can they even before they come in, are they in position for free agents, or excuse my little making fun of their voices, but it's just come on. But then the other thing that bothers me is the people who talk about the Knicks like they won 15 games last year. Like I tweeted this out at Knicks Central. People who talk about the Knicks like they're winning 15 games last year, it's like a negative muscle memory. Like they're like, oh well, the Knicks, I don't know, maybe they'll be fighting for the play-in tournament. Like what? Like they were the 4th seed last year. Like, can we relax? They're fighting for the play-in tournament. Can we see the Bulls put it together first? Can we see the Wizards with their big 3 now with Dinwiddie? They downgraded from Westbrook to Dinwiddie. I mean, I know Dinwiddie probably fits a little better, but can we relax with these trashing? Like they're going to be in the play-in tournament. Like, can we have some respect on our name a little bit? I mean, it was one season, but my God, I know they flopped in the playoffs. I know. And that's the last thing people saw. And that's the last image of last season. Definitely brought last season down from a notch for me. It took it off the pedestal. I'm getting too ahead of myself. It took it off the pedestal for me. And people got mad at me for saying that, but it did, because they got embarrassed. But guess what? I was proud of the Knicks last season. I was so proud of them. And I'm so proud that they're a competent organization. They got Kemba Walker, and they still have draft picks in the future. I didn't like that trade of the 19th pick, but they kept their cap space and they were able to get their guys. And it was all about what are they going to do in the offseason, because the 19th and the 21st pick are not going to make that big of a difference. They got Quentin Grimes, and let's see what he does. They got McBride. Let's see what he does. Who knows? They got this other guy. I forgot his name, but whatever. You got Mitch, you got Noel back. Let's go. You know what I mean? We got Tibbs. We got the guys. All the guys are back in the system. Like I said, Kemba and Fournier already played together. Let's go. I want to play tomorrow. You know what I mean? I want to see them tomorrow. Let's go.
Sucks and they flop.
How do you feel about Durant still playing the Olympics? Are you happy that he's getting the work in, or
no. I mean,
no.
No,
you want him to not play at all?
He
needs to play.
I think it's really cool that he's into it, and I think that just shows that he loves the hoop. and then
Yeah.
he loves to go, and he just loves to hoop and smoke weed. That's his thing, and he's just into both of them, and he loves them, and he loves
And
to play
Twitter.
basketball.
Yeah.
And what?
And he loves Twitter.
And he loves Twitter. Yeah, maybe all three at the same time. I don't know. But the point is, he loves it. So it's awesome to see that, and just to show the strength coming off the injury. The part I don't like is just at any second, you know. But that's
hard.
That's life. But
it's gonna be the rest of his career.
Yeah, but I mean,
didn't he go down last year in the playoffs where you're like, oh my god,
he went
like
there
was
may
a bad
been.
fall. Yeah, it was
I
a really.
think it was the Celtics series. He went flying in there. But Alex, as somebody that watched a lot of Nets, pretty much every fucking game, he went on the floor so many times where everybody was like, grasp for your breath, like you were just terrified. And his body is such like a, he looks like a pencil. His body is shaped. He's so thin that you get scared. And obviously, he's incredibly strong, deceivingly strong. Obviously, definitely. But you just get scared anytime he goes down. So yeah, I think it's kind of dope that he's playing on the court and he's playing so well and he loves the hoop. But then at the same time, I just get terrified anytime anything could go wrong.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's just scary. But yeah,
no,
man,
it is.
I mean, here we go. Basketball's 2 months away. Nets have a full season together. Knicks have expectations. Nets have expectations. Excited. There's going to be some. I want to tell you right now. There's going to be some. I don't know. I think Knicks Hawks started to develop a little rivalry, obviously from the playoffs. But I think Nets Knicks is going to be. I think it's going to be heated. I think it's going to be fun. I think you're going to get some good games. I think you're going to get some really fun basketball, and I think it's going to be really good for the city. And I think it's going to be really. I think Nets Knicks is starting because we had Richard Jefferson on the podcast way back when. He said Net Nick rivalry will be great, but the team's just never good at the same time with the Nets and Barclays, and they're building something here. The Nets are building. They are building a fan base. I've done this a million times. It's going to be fun. They're going to have a fun. Net Knicks is going to be really cool. That's going to be It's going to be some good games. Because remember last year there were no fans.
Yeah, there were no fans
in the building.
There have been moments where Knicks and Nets games have been crazy, and like that opening game when Kyrie made his first game at home versus the Knicks, like that game was wild. I know
the year before with LeVert as well.
Yeah. And then you can go back to when the Nets moved to Brooklyn and they got your guys, your boys, your Pearson Garnett and everybody. And that first game at the Garden was kind of rocking. People don't remember that. Like that was kind of rocking. Tyson Chandler, remember he had like a big putback dunk and like everybody was going nuts. Like, because the Nets came in and started talking trash. And like it was budding back then. People don't want to admit it, but it kind of was. Then you got the rivalry police, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a rivalry unless XYZ happens first, like shut up. But like, it was kind of like the guys, like the teams like kind of didn't like each other because of the media and because of the fans and everything like that. It was brewing, but then the Nets went into the tank, the Knicks went into the tank, and they're both like now coming back up. But it's kind of like, remember the Lakers and the Heat used to have that weird rivalry because of Kobe versus Shaq. Like Shaq left the Lakers, and then so every game that the Heat played the Lakers was on national TV because everybody wanted to see, is Shaq and Kobe going to shake hands? Are they going to fight? Is this and that? The drama. So those teams started hating each other. You know what I'm saying? It's just natural. Like there's so much chirping, especially in this day and age, that you're going to dislike a team. Like Harden, Kyrie, and Durant, they read everything that Knicks fans say. Knicks players, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, they read everything the Nets fans are saying. They read everything the national media is saying. Everybody knows that the Knicks and the Nets are rivalries. And there's still some fans out there, like shout out to Coach Fa, that don't want to admit it. But sooner or later, you guys you'll see. It's there and it's happening. And like you said, this is the year it can really take off if both teams are good. They were good last year. Both were good last year, but Knicks were more of a surprise. And I think this is going to be a little bit of a wild statement. I think this upcoming Knicks and Nets season is going to be more exciting and more intriguing to fans than the Mets and the Yankees this year, because the Mets are exciting, but they're kind of starting to tail out a little bit. The Yankees have been boring. I know they made the big trades for like Rizzo and whatever, but the Knicks and the Nets right now, the Nets are a super team, number one. Number two, the Knicks are coming up with a team that's fun that fans can relate to. And the defense and the hustle and the this and that. And it's basketball is one of the top sports that people forget. There's a basketball court on every other corner in New York City. Like the basketball is like our game. People forget that. Like baseball is our game too, sure. But baseball is not really part of the youth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not as like American as it used to be.
You don't
can't
have to
explain it.
You don't have to convince me about it. I believe with the Knicks improving and becoming a viable team and a playoff team, and the Nets what they've become, and that move to Brooklyn, I expect net Knicks this year to be fireworks. There were no fans in the building last year, so I think there's going to be a lot of pent up emotion for both fan bases in these crowds to get ruckus, to get wild, to get angry. I think they're going to be fun basketball games, man.
Oh yeah,
I really believe that. And if I just learned anything from last year, it's just don't take those wins and losses so serious. It doesn't matter in the long run, at least in my viewpoint now with the team they're going for. And to this as well, to all the Net fans, we had a rotation of 4 players in the playoffs. Let's not freak out if our rotation isn't as deep when we get in the regular season. It's all about what happens to the playoffs.
just get healthy.
Let's
stay healthy.
Calm down. We're going to make more moves. There's more guys to come. I promise you, the playoff roster will look very different than the one that is on the move right now. It's going to be okay. Going to win a championship. We're going to be okay.
All right. Uncle Mikey telling you right now, Uncle Mikey. But you're not a Cliff, though. Like you got to be a Cliff to be an uncle. So I don't know if I
number
can
30, Cliff Robinson.
Yeah,
We got to do the Trump number game tonight.
Well, first, I didn't do a poll question because I'll just read real quick. I did. So instead of doing the weekly poll question, I know all Knicks fans are excited. That was the only topic they can do a poll question on. So I said, Knicks fans, instead of a poll question, because I know everyone's excited, give me one word to describe the reaction to the Kemba Walker signing. I'm not going to read the Twitter handles. I'll give shout outs to everybody another time. I'm just going to go rapid fire and give you words. Okay. Pleased, finally, wholly impressed, relieved, puzzled, dope, fuck, in a good way, hopeful, blah, finally, yes, happy, reborn, flashback of cardiac Kemba, let's fucking go, all in one word, surprised, excited, optimistic, yes, orgasmic, ecstatic, relieved, ecstatic again, expected, unexpected, sorry, upgraded, hopeful, yes, ready, hyped, wow, happy, surprisingly optimistic, woo, like Ric Flair, and I can go on and on. But you get the shocked is another one. Wow, optimistic, relieved. We're repeating ourselves. Shout out to the Knicks fans. Another one once said BX because he is home. So there we go. That's our Knicks fans' reaction to the poll question, but not a poll question this week. That was fun. I gotta
give
say.
you your moment.
That was the Knicks fans. We are ready, man. We are ready. We're gonna have a new Big 15. We here. You can mock our mottos all you want. You can make fun of us all you want, but you're just jealous. You're making fun of us. You're just jealous. All right. Anyway,
not jealous.
Now we're on to the jersey number trivia, sponsored by your friend and your president, Dolan J. Trump. He's at Dolan _J _Trump. What was that?
Buy his merch. Get
his merchandise. Yeah, merchandise. Like Haagen-Dazs. So yeah, because we were doing the jersey number trivia every episode. So it was episode 30. We were guessing number 30s, but we're in the 70s now. So we're getting random numbers. And now Dolan J. Trump is sponsoring it. So Mike's going to guess the Nets and I'm going to guess the Knicks. So
the score is 2-1. I missed last night's. And you got last night's with
Chris Mills.
So you're 2 for 1. You're 2-1. I'm 2-1.
In the Dolan era. In the Dolan Trump era.
In the Dolan Trump era. We don't know the other one, although I'd probably give you a slight edge if I had to guess.
Sure.
Let's go ahead and for this one, because you asked me first this time because last night it was the other way around.
Okay. All right. So for the Nets, he wore number 24 in 1992, but switched to number 20 for the 1993 season.
Okay. So he wore
24 to 20.
Wore number 24 to 20 in 1992. Okay. Keep going.
He started 28 of the 97 regular season games he appeared in during his 2-year stint in New Jersey, including
that stat doesn't help.
I know. It's like he averaged 4.7 points per game. Like, okay.
The other clues.
Yeah. Not including the 5 games in the postseason against Cleveland. So he started 5 games in the playoffs.
Whoa. He started 5 games in the playoffs in 92.
It doesn't give me the year. He just said he started 28 of 97 regular season games he appeared in during his 2-year stint in New Jersey, not including the 5 games in the postseason against Cleveland. So that sounds like that's weird wording, but it sounds like he started 5 games in the playoffs. If not, he played 5 games in the playoffs. I don't know.
Cavs series won 4 games.
I don't know.
That's odd. Well, 92. So you'd have
So you had 92 and 93.
DC, Drazen, Kenny. So it's not Chris Morris.
This is a tough one. So, all right. So he was the 10th overall pick in the 1990 draft for the Hawks out of Michigan, out
Is
of
it
the great
Ramil
state
Robinson?
of Michigan. It is. Got it, man. That was a tough
Yeah.
one.
You know what?
I would have never guessed that. What was that? The draft?
It was Michigan.
Oh, Michigan.
I know where these guys went to college, man. I studied that stuff. It was Michigan.
big.
It was Ramil Robinson. Yes.
So I got to give you the college clues last next time so you can guess.
Yeah, that's my go-to for me personally. That's the one that gets me. Yeah, Ramil Robinson. Okay. Yeah, I got it. I didn't know he changed his jersey number. That I had no idea. That helped me. But I kind of remember the Hawks drafting him, but the Michigan thing gave it away. And then that era, I kind of had to work through it. But
you're a big draft and college guy. You're like one of the best I've ever seen at that. Like, you're like, okay, 1992, 17th pick, Virginia. Oh, that guy, like, you're just okay,
Corey Alexander. He did go to UVA, but I don't think he was that draft. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to make sure I'm not reading yesterday's. Okay.
Let's see if we can get to a clue first.
What's that?
Let's see if we can get to a clue this time. Give me the number.
Number 7 after being acquired from the Lakers in 1994, but switched to number 35 for the 1995 season, is only 2 in New York.
Oh my God, point guard, right? God, what's his name?
I can't say anything. Let me know when you're ready for the next one.
Oh my God, I think I know who you're talking about. What's his name? He was a point guard, wasn't he?
I'm not saying anything. I can't give clues. You want to hear it? Ready?
Oh my God, I know him. I can't think of his name.
Can I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
He was dealt alongside, is it Herb or Herb? Herb Williams to Toronto in 1990. The reason I said that is we would do a Passover Seder, and my cousin would always read the bitter herbs, but he kept calling them herbs because he was like a young kid and couldn't read. Anyway, that was the inside joke for myself. He was dealt alongside Herb Williams to Toronto in 1996 for Victor Alexander and Willie Anderson.
Clark Gaines?
No.
So number 7. It started over.
He wore number 7 after being acquired from the Lakers in 1994, but switched to number 35 for the 1995 season. His only 2 in New York.
Doug Christie.
Bingo.
Yeah. See, there was somebody I was thinking of, but I didn't hear the years. So I heard Lakers point guard, and I was thinking of somebody else, and now I need to look it up because it's driving me crazy.
Doug Christie just became an assistant, I believe, with Sacramento.
Did he? Wow.
I think it's Sacramento. Again, he had done a talk show in Sacramento for a couple of years at the Sacramento station out in Sacramento. You want to hear the other clues just for shits and giggles?
Sure. I need to look up this player because now it's going to drive me crazy.
So wait, who are you thinking of? A point guard?
I can't think of his name. I got the name it's in my head. It's like on the tip of my damn tongue, and I can't think of it. I'm like going through every roster now until I find.
He carved out a 15-year career, was a 4-time All-Defensive player, drafted 17th overall by the Sonics in '92. He played college at Pepperdine. His wife was well known. His best statistical years occurred in the 5 seasons in Toronto. And then I was told not to give this line, but I will anyway because he already got it. Had success in Sacramento.
Yeah, that would have given him. Yeah, I didn't hear the year, and that was my problem. And then because I just had this guy in my head, and I can't find what the.
I told Dolan, I was texting with him on his secret phone, because he's the president. And I said, I have more issues with the 2000. I said, the hardest years for me are 2009 to 2012 because I was in Virginia. I didn't have the NBA package. I had no money to spend on the thing, and the team was terrible. So I wasn't as into the Nets for that pocket of time. That's how. So those guys, I don't know as well. So when you go to the bench guys, the third string guys, it's just not in my head. Like the other era from 90 to 2007, 2008, and then 2013 on, that's like that pocket is my most difficult time. Basically when the Knicks had prime Melo.
Got it. Yeah, that's hard. I hear you. Everybody's got their off years. The 90s, pretty much, I can nail pretty much anybody. And
And we're
I think I
both
proved that over the
3-1.
last 2 episodes. Yeah, like I said, I would have gotten that Doug Christie a lot sooner if I wasn't thinking of this freaking guy that I can't get at.
All
Like,
right, well,
I'm
we'll look it
looking
up
at
another time. I can't take watching you on YouTube.
Ramon Sessions. Ramon Sessions. That's what I was thinking of. I
But
was
he's much
stuck with
older.
Ramon Sessions in my head. I know. I didn't hear the year, but I was like, heard Lakers and point guard, and I'm like, Ramon Sessions in my, I'm like, wow, what's his name? You know what I mean?
I
There
have
we
to
go.
give Dolan credit, though. He does a really nice job putting these questions together.
He
They're
does.
really well thought out. They're prepared. He does an excellent job. Very organized. You know,
Yeah.
it's like he's like teaching us a lesson or something with these. Very well done.
I mean, it's easier to get me in, even though I watched more games in the 2000s than I did, and then I guess maybe not, because when you're in the 90s, when I'm growing up, I'm like elementary school. I can't watch every game. It's late. I'm a kid. You know what I mean? You got to go to sleep. But like
You gotta go to sleep.
in the 2000s, when in the Isaiah era, especially, there were so many trades that there was
There's a
like
lot.
guys. There was a lot. You
A
know what
lot
I
of
mean? You went.
movement. Yeah.
Like usually you have guys, how many guys play for a team in a season? Maybe 18, usually most of the time. There were times where there was like 25 guys that played for the Knicks in a season. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like absurd. I mean, maybe I'm messing with the amount, but it was just like it was crazy.
There's
Like
more
it
transactions now.
was absurd.
It is
Absurd.
funny watching your brain and my brain, like when it clicks and you just like say it out loud and it just pops in your head. It's just
Yeah.
weird how the brain works, but that's a science conversation. Like boom,
Is it?
Ramil Robinson.
That's right. When you watch these back like later, you're like, oh, these guys. Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
well,
So
now
anyway,
you can't do
all right.
Ramon Sessions. Yeah, you can't do Ramon Sessions because now that I'm gonna guess that easy. That I'm like, dude, that would annoyed the hell out of me. I was like, who is the guy? I can't think of. I just remember that he got passed around the NBA towards the end of his career. Knicks were one of those stops where it's like, can he be? This is the place where he puts it all together, and this is the place where he puts it all together. And it's like the Lakers are one of those teams, and I was just remember laughing. And Kobe's probably like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, you know, what I mean? Like Remote Sessions. So where's Jason Kidd? You know,
Although
those days.
this episode is 76 would be, Sean Bradley wore 76. So you could
there
actually
You
do that.
have a
And
jersey
George
number.
Urasan wore number 77.
Yeah.
So
He
you
did.
could have back to back. And then, what is Deshaun Stevenson was 92 for the Nets.
Yeah. Oh, and Bargnani's 77. So we can get that next
So
episode.
next week, I'll be ready for that. Bargnani, bring it on. All right. This has
Here we
been
go.
Bad Weather Fans, episode number 76. A lot of news will be reacted to. Kemba Walker signs with the New York Knicks. Spencer Dinwiddie dealt to the Washington Wizards. He had a fun tweet as well where don't worry about it. All you Knicks fans, you hate him, but it was pretty funny, I thought. So
No, I
kudos to
won't.
Spence. I love you. I should mention as well, you were a great net. I enjoyed watching you play here. It was an exciting time. I'll be rooting for you. Hopefully not too well when you play the Nets, but I did enjoy the
Happy to see you go.
yeah.
Bye, Spence.
Bad Weather Fans, Ep 76. Thank you guys. Download this bad boy. Listen on Spotify, Apple. You know all the good places to find it. And if you want to see it on video, head on over to YouTube and type
Thumbs
in
up.
Bad Weather Fans. Thumbs up.
Those thumbs up.
Subscribe. We love it. Alex, congrats on Kemba. And I'll
you.
talk to you later.
Talk to you soon.